back to another episode of Organizing Tune-Ups with your host, Jessica Littman, the Organized Mama, where we break down big organizing concepts into small, bite-sized chunks you and your family can do every day for 5 to 15 minutes. And we are talking about productivity for moms. Yes, you can have like a really productive and time-positive day with a couple of easy strategies, no matter the age of your kids. So I'm going to give you a little story. Back when I had my daughter, so my son was a toddler, I had 2 kids under 2, and I felt like I was just drowning in life. Like I could not keep anything organized together. I was never getting enough sleep. I felt like I just was not myself, and I couldn't find a rhythm to make life work. So what I started to do was I ended up finding a couple of blogs that talked about time blocking. So I was like, okay, let me try this. I'll see, the kids were kind of on a schedule. So I started following these time blocking tips that I was reading on blogs. Now, the majority of the time blocking people that were writing these blogs were men. And I want to note that because I do find that sometimes men, and not sometimes, because it just is a fact, men and women are productive in different ways. And so because of this, I felt like time blocking wasn't working for me. I couldn't figure out how to make things kind of flow. And then I found a time blocking article by a woman that was a mom. And she explained how to time block for moms. And it changed my life. I felt like I got my days back. I started to feel like a normal human again. And I've kind of like tweaked her system a little bit so that it's a little more organized and fluid and works a little more seamlessly for myself and for other moms that I have worked with. So time blocking is basically just scheduling your time to focus on one task and completing it within that set parameter of time. Maybe it's 15, typically it's a 15-minute increment, and I like 15-minute increments. I think they make sense just based on, time and like the hour. So to break up your day into 15, 30, 45, or 1 hour increments, and then doing a task in that time, because we can't multitask. Our brain is not set up to multitask, regardless of what you say or what you've heard or what you've read. All of the research proves our brain cannot multitask. You do not do 2 things well at the same time. You kind of half it each time. So if you're doing 2 tasks, like having a conversation with somebody and writing a paper, you are half listening and half writing. So neither task is done well. When you time block your day, you are able to do one task for 15 minutes and do that one task well. And I found as a mom, doing the 15-minute increments works wonders, especially with like toddlers or younger kids, because really their attention span is so short that okay, we're going to play for 15 minutes and then I'm going to work for 15 minutes, or I'm going to put away the dishes, or I'm going to do this. And you have these small increments throughout your day where you can balance your schedule with the kids. Okay. So first thing, I am a visual person, so I need to write it all out. I have a visual time blocker in my Time Blocking for Moms workbook that you can get where you're listening to this podcast. Now, my tracker has the day broken up into 15-minute kind of like squares. And so each of those squares is where I would put in specific things. So I start with my non-negotiable times. If we have school pickup, school drop-off, naps, lunch, breakfast, anything that we can't be flexible on, I put that in red. Then, so I block off that time. And then I also block off like any travel or, if like, let's say we have an activity, well, it takes 15 minutes to get to the activity, kids have the activity, and then 15 minutes to come home. So I'll block off all of that time as, that activity. And that is in red, and it is a non-negotiable. Then I put in the things that I would like to do. I make my list. I put on like the left-hand side of my little like blocks, and I write down my list, and then I slowly put them into 15-minute blocks. So if we have an hour, so 9 o'clock, we start I'll play with the kids for 15 minutes, 9 to 9:15. Then from 9:15 to 9:30, I will empty the dishwasher. 9:30 to 9:45, we'll have a snack. 9:45 to 10 o'clock, we can, put laundry in the washing machine. And so by creating these little blocks of time, you're going to complete the tasks that you have to do throughout the day. And it might seem like super tedious at first, but when you are basically treading water, like I was with my 2 little kids, it gave me so much structure that I needed in order to feel like a good mom. So I'm encouraging you, if you're feeling like, oh my God, I can't do this, I can't keep up with all the things, to try time blocking your day. Do it in 15-minute increments, and then also give yourself like a little buffer for things. Like if I plan to do a project during nap time, I will give myself like a 15-minute buffer before or after like the nap schedule, so I can make sure that I can complete that task. Like if my son doesn't sleep, then I gave myself a 15-minute buffer after nap time to finish up that task while he has his milk or whatever it was at the time. Now my kids are a little more self-sufficient. I can't say a little more. They are very self-sufficient. So I don't need to worry about like the 15-minute increments. Now I can extend them to 30 minutes. And that has helped significantly when it comes to kind of like building on my time blocking. And because I've been doing this since they were younger, it's kept me on schedule and helped my brain focus on one task at a time. So if this sounds like something that will benefit you, or you're just like, I need to try something, try time blocking. And I have more tips and everything listed below where you are listening to this podcast. And I'll see you in the next one.